It's your favorite YouTuber, guys, DS Learning Finance, financially educating you guys to freedom for the beginners by former beginner every Sunday at 3 p.m. Even though £1,000 may not be a huge amount to, let's say, buy a property with, it's still a lot of money nonetheless and can take you very far if invested in the right way. The important part is to only use this money to acquire assets for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about just that, guys. I'm going to talk about my top 10 ways to invest £1,000. And the best part is that some of these methods that I'm going to talk about with you guys is especially useful at times like this. At times when there's huge uncertainty going around with all this coronavirus and Brexit around the corner. You can make so much money in situations like this. And I'm going to let you guys know how. And I've got a thing or two in this top 10 list that you probably wouldn't have heard of before. And me being me, I like to save my best for last. So the 10th and final point will always be the best way to invest £1,000. So make sure you watch through to the end of this video to find out what it is. So if you like the sound of this, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on. It will really help me a lot. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Beginning with 1, selling things online. Now, platforms like eBay and Amazon just aren't there for you to buy things with. They're also there for you guys to sell things on. I have a very good friend who has a fully operational business based on this model. What he does is he buys and sells clothes, guys, and he makes a lot of money just doing that. You don't actually need £1,000 to get started in this. You just need things to sell. And I guarantee you, in your room at home, you have lots of things to sell. So as well as making you money in this aspect, it's also decluttering your environment. 2, stocks. Now this has to be one of my favorite methods to use, guys. Heck, it's how I even started investing, period. So I can tell you guys, when you do the work, when you put in the work into this, you can make some serious money. And the best part is that now is one of the best times to invest, guys, just because of the corona outbreak and also the fact that Brexit's around the corner. It means that there are a lot of good bargains going on in the stock market right now. And what that essentially means for a beginner or for someone starting out, even just for anyone, even an expert as well, is that you can grab very good stocks for very cheap prices. And just like everyone knows, it's not about the price that you sell your stock for, it's about the price that you buy it for, because that dictates whether you're going to make a profit or not in the future. I actually made a video about this, guys, so if you haven't checked out, click here. And just to point you guys in the right direction, stocks like Rightmove and the Hargreaves Lansdown are good stocks to look at right now in the UK stock market. 3, exchange traded funds. Now these are investment funds that you can trade on the stock market. These funds allow you to invest in things that are normally difficult to obtain or impossible in the stock market via the conventional way of acquiring the stock. A good ETF to invest in will be one that tracks the FTSE 100 or the 250. Why? Because the FTSE 100 and 250 haven't been this low across several years, guys. So what you're actually doing is you're maximizing your gains in the future when things get back to normal. But in the meantime, you can buy these ETFs for cheap. 4, mutual funds. Now, if you're not confident investing in stocks or ETFs, then mutual funds might be a good way for you guys to get your feet wet in the stock market. Why? Because a mutual fund is where you have a financial expert who looks after your money collectively with other people's money and invests in several different things. So in other words, you're giving your money to an expert to invest with. Now, the reason why I sarcastically say expert is because it fluctuates, guys. Some mutual funds here may not be as good as mutual funds over there. So I recommend that you guys do your due diligence. Make sure that you know this mutual fund manager is going to look after your money carefully, as well as make you some money on top. My little tip for you guys with mutual funds is when you're looking for a mutual fund, make sure to pay attention to the fees, because often that tells you how good the mutual fund is. Now, I don't mean in paying over and above for a mutual fund. I mean in terms of how does the fund manager get paid, guys. This is so important. What you want the fund manager to get paid based on is how much money he makes for the mutual fund, rather than a base flat rate. Why? Because this incentivizes him to make you guys more money. So make sure to look for that, and also look for consistent performances across several years for that mutual fund manager. I could talk about mutual funds for days, guys. So if you guys want me to make a video on it, then let me know in the comment box down below. If I get enough comments, then I'll be willing to do it for you guys. 5, deal sourcing. Now, deal sourcing is a very lucrative business to enter into. It's where you find deals for investors to buy properties with. The average price of a deal tends to fluctuate between 2 to 3 grand. So if you're on an average salary of, let's say, 40k, just one of them will probably cover you for the whole month. And what I really love about deal sourcing is that it's fairly inexpensive, guys. All you really just need is an internet connection, a computer to access the internet, some working relationships with buyers and sellers, and go into house viewings. And that's literally it, guys. You can start packaging your own deals, because the real price, the real value in deal sourcing comes from here. It comes from the financial education that you've gained over the years. But the only reason why you'll need £1,000 is to actually get started legally. This includes setting up your own business with the correct tax code, registering it under the HMRC and anti-money laundering, taking out the correct insurance, and including yourself in the Data Protection Act. All of these things in total probably add up to £800 to £1,000, though prices may vary accordingly. And if you guys want to learn how to find good deals, then I've actually done a video on how to find HMO properties, so you can click on the link here. And also, if you want to learn about other deals, other properties that you can get, then let me know in the comment box below. I'll be happy to make a video for you guys. 6, bonds. Now, bonds are kind of like a loan that you, the holder, loans out this money, so £1,000 in this case, to someone who's borrowing that money, which is called the bond issuer, with the agreement that they're going to pay you back that money plus interest on top across a certain period. Now, why have I mentioned this? Well, this is for you guys who might be a bit skeptical about investing in stocks, ETFs, or even mutual funds, guys. It's for the people who don't really like to take on as risky of an investment as you can get, but at the same time want to make a little bit of a profit. These are what bonds are perfect for, because you can actually get 2 types of bonds. You can get corporation bonds, which is basically loaning money out to companies, and you can get municipal bonds, which is loaning money out to the government, basically. So you can imagine borrowing all this money out to the government or big well-established companies. It's highly unlikely you're never going to get your money back. The majority of the time you're going to get your money back if it's a well-established organization. But as well as this being less risky, it's also reflecting an amount of interest, because the two go hand to hand. Because you're taking less risk on, you're therefore expecting to not make as much money as if you were to invest in a stock market, for example. And you can even take it one step further. You can even be less risky by investing in multiple bonds, kind of spreading your eggs across all baskets, sort of. You can invest in bond funds, which kind of actually work like mutual funds, effectively give you a bigger grasp of the whole bond market. But reel this back into the interest rate. Don't expect to be a millionaire overnight while investing in bonds, because these really are slow burner investments. Just to give you a sort of idea of what bonds are actually used for, the first thing that probably comes to mind for me is pensions, guys. So yeah, you're talking about a low interest rate, low risk for a long period of time, and that's how you actually make money from it. 7, peer-to-peer lending, P2P as they like to call it for short. This is where you give your money, your £1,000, to someone else to invest with. Now, what you're essentially doing is you're investing in that person and their ideas. And in exchange of doing that, the aim is for them to pay you back your money plus interest on top, and / or ownership of what they're investing in. For me, there are 3 questions that you need to have clear answers for if you're going to do this. 1, what is the payback time? When can I expect to get my money back? 2, how much profit am I going to make simply? Otherwise, what's the point of doing this? Why not just invest in the stock market? Why not just invest in mutual funds? What's the point of doing this? And finally, 3, what are they going to use that money for? That's so important. You need to establish that. Because if they're going to be using it to buy, let's say, properties, and you're proper against buying properties, then the two don't work. It doesn't make any sense. My little tip for you guys is make sure to use credible websites and credible companies to do P2P lending on. You got to imagine the worst case scenario. Imagine you don't get your money back. Now you want that company, that website, to be able to get you your money back, to enforce the rules and regulations on that person. So just think about that. 8, paying down your debts. Now I know there are probably a lot of people thinking that that actually isn't a way of investing, and it's true. But what it can do is financially improve your situation. Now sometimes it actually may be better to pay down your debts before starting an investment, solely depending on how much interest you're having to pay for that debt. Now I've made a video that's quite similar on this. Well, it was actually on paying down debts versus a savings account, which one's the best to do. But it's a similar sort of method that you use to judge for paying down debt versus investing. So make sure to click on the link here if you haven't already watched the video. It will help you answer that question. Now 9 involves buying intangible and tangible things that can help increase your output in acquiring more assets. For example, if you have a photography business and you have a crappy camera, then maybe investing £1,000 to get a better camera or a better lens might be the difference between taking your company to the next level. Or maybe even just getting started initially. Maybe it requires a lot of money for you guys to get started in that business, in that area, that expertise that you're looking to develop yourself in. All I just ask is be honest with yourself and only buy things that will increase your output rather than things that you want, because it can quickly change from investing to spending. And finally, the best for last, 10, investing in yourself, in your financial education. Now this will always be the best way to spend £1,000. This includes reading investment books. I've put affiliate links of good investment books down in the description box below. Check it out, guys. This also includes training courses, going to training courses to develop yourself in stocks, properties, wherever you look to invest. It also can include finding a coach for you. Maybe that's the difference between taking yourself to the next level, guys. Regardless, investing in your financial education is the way to go about spending that £1,000 wisely. You see, when you financially educate yourself, losing money or making enough money is never an issue, because you know you can acquire more assets several times over and over and over again. And there's a lot of freedom in being able to do that. And so those are my top 10 ways of how to invest £1,000. Now I've made this into an open-ended series, guys, where you tell me how much money you're willing to invest, and in exchange what I do is I suggest ways to invest that specific amount of money. And the way to actually kickstart it, guys, is by leaving a comment down below saying how to invest ... Fill it up with the specific amount that you guys want to invest. Whichever amount I get the most comments for, that's the video I'm making the next episode on. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it's added some value. Don't forget to like, subscribe with the notification bell on. It will really help my channel. And follow me on all of my social media platforms down below. It's your favorite YouTuber, guys, DS Learning Finance, financially educating you guys to freedom for the beginners by a former beginner every Sunday at 3 p.m. DS Learning Finance.